Hey, what's up guys, Ref here. So I think we all understand that headcanon is always going to be a part of any media-based fandom, and as a concept, there's nothing wrong with headcanon. If you want to view a character a certain way in your own mind because it makes you happy, perfect, go for it. If you want to look at a character and say, despite all of the evidence out there, I'm going to view them as a pansexual, non-binary reptilian, go for it if it makes you happy. But the problem lies when people use their own personal headcanons to justify harassing and threatening those who look at the character based on the way it's presented in the relevant media. It gets even worse when people use their personal headcanons to go out and claim that the creator of those characters are in fact wrong about their own interpretation of their own character. This is something we're seeing happen more and more over the past couple of years, and it's getting to be a real problem. One of the characters that has fallen victim to this cycle is Yamato from One Piece. Now, we've talked about this extensively in other videos. You can check them out if you want the full explanation of this whole situation involving Yamato. But basically, a lot of people have claimed that Yamato is trans and identifies as a male. Now, their evidence of this is a couple of out-of-context manga panels where Yamato was LARPing as a male character. And their further evidence is, of course, well, headcanon. And despite the mountain of evidence that suggests that this character is simply female, those people who have invested in that headcanon simply don't listen. In fact, Oda, the creator of One Piece, has consistently affirmed that this character is female and has done so recently. In one of the recent manga chapters, he made this color piece right here with all the characters, and it's captioned, "The Girls of One Piece." And of course, you can see Yamato is included. Now, how did these people with their headcanon respond to this very clear affirmation that Yamato is a female? Well, they ended up sending death threats and claiming that Oda was transphobic for saying that his female character is in fact female. Yeah. As you can see, a very normal and measured response to this situation. But things involving this debate would get worse when about a week ago at Anime Expo, Crunchyroll announced that they're making an official dub for One Piece, where in return, the voice actress Michelle Rojas made this tweet announcing the fact that she is voicing Yamato. Now, the controversy lies in the use of a him pronoun when referring to Yamato, the character that this voice actress is responsible for. Now, this led to another surge in this debate about Yamato's gender. It got a lot of support and it got a lot of backlash as well. And in response to the people trying to correct her use of a male pronoun when it should have been female, this artist has come out to support the claim that Bridget is trans. So I have to censor out the good bits for YouTube. And again, this is a good piece of art. I'm just saying that it has a disrespectful message, and I'll explain why. So in this art, Yamato is brushing off this image right here, which I'll explain in a minute. Basically saying it's stinky and gross and should be ignored. However, that thing they're waving off is the official card for this character that was approved by Oda himself. So basically you're saying that Oda, in his opinion, is stinky and unwanted because it doesn't serve your narrative. Seems pretty disrespectful, especially when you're using his character to make this artwork. It just seems a bit disrespectful for an artist to do this. Now, this card has been making the rounds on social media. It is pretty much a KO in this debate. Okay, you have a card that is officially approved by the creator of One Piece that says that Yamato is female. When you're confronted with this and you believe the headcanon that they're trans, you don't really have a response. In fact, the only responses you see on social media are either ignoring this card or claiming that you're transphobic for bringing it up, which is hardly surprising. But here's the card itself. Oddly enough, a lot of people claim that this part down here, saying that they are essentially Kaido's child instead of saying daughter, is proof that they're trans, which is quite a reach. And they also ignore the fact that this character's gender is listed on this card as female. And this was a card that was officially reviewed and approved and supervised by Oda himself. In fact, there are documents like this out there that show he left handwritten notes on this card. So like I said, this is pretty much a KO to the debate. The creator says that this character is female and has approved of this card that confirms it. where and how do you continue a debate based on this? Well, a lot of people are now mocking this artwork and making edits like this version right here, which is pretty funny, just swapping out the card with the artwork. And yeah, you have other posts ratioing it like this, saying, you gave stink lines to a character bio. I've heard of, I drew you as a soy jack checkmate, but how does one beef with a card? Which is pretty much the point everyone's making. How do you dispute this official card that says that Yamato is female and something that the creator of the character has confirmed? But a lot of people have also been comparing this situation to the Bridget controversy from the past year or so. And to save you the very long and exhausting story involving this character, I will sum it up very quickly. So Bridget is a character from the Guilty Gear franchise. For many, many years, this character's lore heavily suggested that this character was born a male and identified as a male, but was forced to identify as female by their parents' wishes to uphold a superstition of their village. This was not disputed for many, many years, probably over a decade. And then when Guilty Gear Strive came out last year, there was a part of the arcade mode that had a few lines suggesting that they might identify as female, where there was a whole debate on Twitter about this. And eventually the developers of Guilty Gear came out and said that Bridget's gender was female and that they were trans. And a lot of people like me who were involved in that debate accepted the fact, okay, the developers said they're trans, therefore Bridget is trans. But it's just bad writing, right? You build up a character for over a decade a certain way, and then you do a 180 overnight. It seems like at the very least, poor writing, and beyond that, an appeal to weirdos on Twitter. But nonetheless, people have been comparing this situation to our current situation because the big justification for claiming that this character, that Bridget was trans, was that the developers confirmed it. This right here was the biggest argument. You saw this everywhere. As soon as the developers came out and said that Bridget was trans, these people said, that is it, debate over. So the question lies, what's different here? What is different in this situation? You have Oda saying that this character is female, and yet you still won't accept this reality. And this is something being pointed out by users like this. The fact that they can't remain consistent with this logic they use to prove that Bridget was trans shows that they're just making things up as they go and doing it in a way that serves their narrative. It's not about actually having a honest discussion about this character's gender. It's about what they want, and they will shut out even the creator of the character if it goes against their narrative. But another weird thing people observe, this is an acquaintance of Oda, and people notice that this artwork is in their likes, which is pretty concerning, and a lot of people are worried about what's going to happen next. Are we going to have another Guilty Gear moment where pressure might influence how the creator treats this character? Well, a lot of people have been making posts like this, trying to get ahead of the curve this time by making posts directed at all of the parties involved with One Piece and saying that please don't listen to the loud minority. True fans of the series understand what this character is all about and what the true reality of Yamato's gender is. And of course, if you raise this whole thing, you get called transphobic and that you hate trans people. And I will speak on behalf of this whole side. I support trans people. I look forward to more trans characters. But I think this whole disingenuous nature of forcing a character to be identified as trans based on your headcanon is too far. Trans rights and all that, but that doesn't mean I have to believe your ridiculous headcanon and give in to your thoughts just because you want it to be that way. Doesn't mean I have to deal with delusions just because I support trans people. I think that's pretty obvious, but of course a lot of people believe that if you do that, well, you're transphobic, and you know how ridiculous that is. But the reaches in this situation keep getting worse. So this user says, it's crazy to me how transphobes are using this as an excuse to be transphobic and going sub better than dub, as if Luffy's VA isn't literally a woman. Now, besides the whole sub versus dub debate being related to transphobia, that's just ridiculous. But the fact that a female voice actor is responsible for a male character is not proof of anything. I think it's very simple here. When you have a young character, their voice tends to be more high. Well, guess what? When you have adult voice actors, men tend to have deeper voices. That's why, not just in anime, but in cartoons as well, a lot of young male characters are voiced by female voice actors. That is not a new thing, and that is not proof that they're trans. That'd be like saying Timmy Turner is trans because Tara Strong, a female, voices a male character because that's what the studio found to be the most appropriate voice for the character. Absolutely insane reach. And another thing that a lot of people are bringing up about this, and they quoted this over the artwork we've been talking about, there's a lot of characters in One Piece that have been confirmed by Oda to be trans. And yet, these are ignored. And why are they ignored? Well, they're not popular. And it's not popular to talk about these characters. Therefore, the Twitter freaks don't care. And it's insane to me. It's insane to me you have this nugget here of exactly what people claim they want. And you could use this to elevate these characters and use them as a positive example and maybe even use them as a springboard for more trans characters. And yet, these people don't care because they want to force their headcanon about Yamato to be right. Because it's all about winning. It's not about having an honest discussion about anything. It's about being right and forcing people to accept your headcanon. And hopefully, my God, hopefully, Oda doesn't give in to this and continues to affirm the character the way he sees fit and has seen fit this whole time. And yeah, that's going to do it for this video. I appreciate you guys hanging in there. I know it's a little bit of a all over the place video, but please let me know all your thoughts about today's topic in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.